you so much, Dave. I really appreciate you having me on today. It's such a joy to be here. I'm so grateful to be included, and I'm really humbled to be included in this with so many great leaders. It's fairly intimidating, really, for me to be with these people that have shown their leadership. Just let me mention a couple things about myself so you'll know where I'm coming from. As Dave mentioned, I'm a veterinarian. After I returned from Vietnam with the Army as a helicopter pilot, I went back to school, got my bachelor's in zoology, and then went on and got my doctorate in veterinary medicine at Colorado State University. And then after a relatively brief period of time in private practice, I went into research. And I was extremely fortunate to have been in the right place at the right time. So I got to work on a number of projects to develop products for animals. And many of these products really changed the way, changed the health of animals worldwide and changed the way we manage our animals. So it was really an amazing thing for this country bumpkin to be involved in these projects and create such products as Heartguard 30, equilenzymectrin for horses, Eprinex for cattle, and SoloStep for biological test for dogs, and a number of other products. So it's just right place, right time. And so that gives me a perspective about products and animal health products, and I'd like to share a little of that with you today. So I'm going to share the screen here if I can get this thing to work, and talk a little bit about my favorite product. Here we go. And it's not coming up. Hopefully you guys are seeing it. Did I get a share screen there or not?
Yeah, we can see your screen, but we can't see the slide.
There it is.
There it is.
Took a little while for it to come up. Here we go. There you go. So, let me get the right here. So I get to talk about my favorite product. Here it is. And that's Pet Tandem for dogs. So what's so special about Pet Tandem for dogs? What makes it unique? I think the best way to discuss the uniqueness of it is to tell you a little story, a story about our dog Sheila. In 2013, this picture was taken probably in June of 2013. Well, at that time, we were introduced to LifeVantage. This was early February 2013. We saw the ABC Primetime Investigative Report, and were introduced to the literature. I did my due diligence because of my background in research with pharmaceutical products, and I looked at the literature in PubMed.gov, and I said, wow, this is really amazing technology. And I think that this technology is going to change the way we look at health and well-being, not just in ourselves, but in our animals too. And so with that, we became distributors, started taking the product, and we got Sheila on what is now Pet Tandem. So this is probably 4 months after she started on Pet Tandem. I should say also that her hair coat was thinning, had bare patches of skin, etc. when she started on Pet Tandem. Within weeks, I noticed a change in Sheila. She got more active and more alert. And by this time, 3-4 months down the road of taking Pet Tandem, she was running around, chasing the poor critters around the yard, going with me here on my chores on the farm. Just the joy of life had returned to her. And look at her hair coat. That hair coat that you see in this picture is probably as good as I've ever seen it in her entire life. And so the joy had returned to her life, and how much is that worth? So that is what's so special about Pet Tandem. I'm going to break it down for you a little bit. So here's 6 factors that I kind of put together to show you some of the special aspects of Pet Tandem. I'm going to go through them individually. Obviously, Pet Tandem has the benefits of Protandim NRF2 technology. That is the same patented synergistic, naturally sourced ingredients as Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. And you, over the past few months, have had your, if you've been watching Success Mastery, you know the biochemistry. You've seen it from some of my colleagues on the Science Advisory Board. So you've had the college level course, so you know what those ingredients are and what they do. And in this respect, I believe that Pet Tandem is the only product that's formulated with NRF2 activation and that's formulated to reduce oxidative stress at the cellular level in dogs. And oxidative stress is a key issue in dogs, just like it is important in humans. We know that dogs have a shorter lifespan, so anything where we can do to increase their health span is really significant. They have a higher metabolic rate, so we know they're creating more free radicals in their metabolism, and those lead to oxidative stress. I believe that dogs generally are athletes. Sheila, when she was in her prime, could run, I think, all day long. She could be active all day long. It's just amazing. Our current dog, Hap, he's not a long distance dog, but he's a sprinter, and he can go up and down the stairs when I throw his toy for him multiple times, just nonstop. It's just amazing what they can do. Of course, they're used in they're used for rescue. They're used for dogs that are involved in seeing eye and guiding, and as service dogs. Used to find things, etc. So they're extremely active, and all these activities and stuff create a level of metabolism that generates free radicals and leads to oxidative stress. And not only that, the environment that they're in and their lifestyle creates more issues for oxidative stress. Diets are frequently, most commercial diets are extruded diets. That means they're produced under high pressure, temperature, and moisture. And that frequently degrades the nutrients and also creates compounds that are not very wholesome in that diet. And in addition, they have added preservatives so that they have long shelf life. I want to talk a little bit about exercise, but there are other stressors too. Stressors such as separation anxiety that dogs go through, loud noises such as thunder, lightning, other loud noises that they may be exposed to. All these things create stress. Just the turmoil in a household. Dogs are very sensitive to these issues. They know when you're leaving. They know when you're upset, etc. This all creates physiological stress, which leads to oxidative stress. And we all are familiar with some of the toxic chemicals that we're exposed to in our environment. But think about it. Dogs are down there on the ground. They're sniffing around, sticking their nose in things. And most of the herbicides and pesticides that we use are sprayed on the ground. Further agricultural chemicals, industrial chemicals, all the toxins that are in those chemicals, smoke, etc., settle down onto the ground. And the dogs aren't protected. They don't have any clothes on. They don't have shoes on. Just think about all the things they're exposed to. They're out in the sunshine. Again, they're unprotected. So the solar radiation, and they're in our households where they're exposed to all the household chemicals, but they're also exposed to the electromagnetic radiation from their devices, etc. I think somebody's unmuted, Juan. Are you unmuted? Anyway, so they're exposed to all these chemicals and the radiation where even more so than we are. So oxidative stress is generated from all these activities and exposures, creates the same situation in dogs and the same effects in dogs as in humans. And this is exemplified by age-related oxidative stress. We've already talked about in my story about Sheila, and these are very similar to what we see in humans in the aging process. So we know all these things because of all the science that's been done. There's something like 230,000 papers touching on oxidative stress in PubMed.gov and 12,000 papers that discuss NRF2 activation. Over half of these papers were done in, the studies were done in animal models. And what's found is that the cellular mechanism for oxidative stress and the process of NRF2 activation and expression of the survival genes is exactly the same in animals, dogs, as it is in humans. And in fact, 15 of the 26 papers on protandim NRF2 synergizer in PubMed.gov are actually based on animal models. Studies such as the study by the National Institute on Aging. Google Scholar has over 120,000 citations on oxidative stress. These are technical citation papers in the veterinary literature and such. Again, that's not Google, that's Google Scholar, which is a technical search engine of Google. With Google, you won't get that. You'll get your crazy uncle's opinion. But Google Scholar has technical information. So what we know now is that studies done in animal models, many of them actually with dogs, are at least as applicable to dogs as humans, and certainly vice versa. So all this information that we have on oxidative stress and NRF2 activation now is just as important in animals, dogs, as it is in humans. In addition to that, we have a study done in dogs in a clinical study that showed in a double-blind study where both the investigators and the guardians of the animals did not know which dogs received placebo and which dog received the active pet tandem, that they found that using a scoring system, that cognitive function and behavior increased and improved in the pet tandem treated dogs. Further, there was an increase in catalase, statistically significant, which showed that NRF2 activation was taking place. T-bars decreased, which showed that oxidative stress was being reduced. I don't know of any other product that has this kind of data on the actual branded product. It's just really impressive to have that kind of information. But I think really one of the things about the product that's sheer genius is the addition of avian sternum cartilage to the Protandim ingredients. That is a patented ingredient that's processed specifically to make sure that the type 2 collagen and the chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid, and glucosamine are bioactive and highly available. There's no other delivery system that provides chondroitin sulfate and glucosamine as bioavailable, that is absorbable and usable as this particular branded product does. And that's included in pet tandem, an amazing addition. And omega-3 fatty acids are added so that because most of the dog foods are deficient in fatty acids. In addition, we have something that can be administered easily, that is not forced, not spread on food, not a liquid that has to be forced, or a pill that has to be forced, but a palatable, chewable tablet, a discrete tablet flavored with chicken liver, and bacon. One of the things that I found that is in all my years in animal health is that if it's not convenient, the animals don't get it. People can't give it to them. So if it's not a convenient formulation, it's not given. And what I found is that if it's not given, it's amazing how it will lack efficacy. So having a convenient formulation is really great, and one that is produced at high quality. Pet tandem is produced at the same level of quality as Protandim. The tested and selected ingredients are monitored all the way from the field to inclusion in the product, so they're pure and consistent, and manufactured under government scrutiny to good manufacturing practices. But not only government agencies are looking on, but the third party, National Animal Supplement Council, has certified that Pet Tandem meets the highest standards for quality and quality assurance, and it bears their seal. Further, LifeVantage is a member of the United Natural Products Alliance, whose members strongly support the sale of safe, responsible natural products. So they combine together to monitor how these products are taken out of the environment and how they are produced. So Protandem has the same ingredients as Pet Tandem, or the same active ingredients in Pet Tandem as in Protandem to reduce oxidative stress, plus the avian sternum cartilage and omega-3 fatty acids to give you a list of advantages and benefits. I think the most important of these benefits is the joy of life. The comfort and joy that these pets bring to us and the joy of life that they have, that we have seen from the clinical study and also our experience with Pet Tandem in the field, that dogs have a joy of life return when they're on Pet Tandem. I think that it really is the real special thing about Pet Tandem. This is my dog Hap. He's brought a lot of joy and comfort to our lives, and he's also a rescue dog. And this is after he won the running of the wieners, so he's an athlete, and really an addition to our lives. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. I hope you got something out of this, and I really appreciate being on today to be able to talk about my favorite product. And I want to especially thank LifeVantage for creating this very, very special product for dogs, Pet Tandem. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Dave.